Welcome to the presidency. This is Jubilee House. We just finished the presidential media encounter. I'm here with a few of my colleagues. They were all participating in this. Two of them asked questions. I didn't get an opportunity to ask a question. He didn't get an opportunity to ask a question. You know him as Omar Rusanda with City FM and Channel 1. You know him she is Benis Abubedu Lancer. Should I say formally with us or currently with GH1? All works. And of course, Kudu Yangsi, who asked the question. I want to start with those who asked the question. You asked the question about rent and accommodation. Then the president answered. Did he answer it to your satisfaction? That's the challenge with this sort of encounter. You don't get to do a follow-up. If he dodges the question, he's gone. Were you satisfied with the answer?
Partially, because he didn't address the issue on affordability for me. So he did talk about plans to put up some housing units and they were going to give it out to people working and then there'll be some monthly deductions. But I wanted to hear I wanted a focus on affordability because that's what it is for a lot of Ghanaians. And also the bit on equipping the rent control department to protect vulnerable Ghanaians. He answered it in one bit where he spoke about he thinks that a lot of us are conniving with our landlords because there's competition, we need the building, so we will pay 1 or 1.5 or 2 years rent advance. But there are also people who are being maltreated by their landlords. He didn't tell me how he was going to equip the rent control department. So yes, I did have follow-up questions for him.
And that's the challenge. You asked a question about Galamsey.
I did.
I had a question about Galamsey also. I know Bernard had a question about Galamsey. I don't know if you had a question about Galamsey. I mean, we all came with. I mean, it was the biggest deal in this country. Did you get an answer that you were happy with?
First of all, I agree with Bernice that the way that we have this format of one question per journalist doesn't really help with probing. So I had to attempt to layer my question, right? So I first of all started with the issue of their performance. Their performance in the fight against Galamsey. So I gave some details about that, talked about the excavators. I talked about the water bodies. Some of them have actually been blocked by Galamseyers over the past 9 months.
And I talked about said that was something I was going to mention also, because it's when you present the president with a fact, it's hard for him to escape.
Precisely.
And you touched on it, which is the turbidity, and that's how ultimately I've measured the effectiveness of the Galamsey fight. Last year in August, specifically 30th of August 2024, when he was the opposition leader, the Ghana Water Company issued a statement about the challenge they're having in the central region. And they said the turbidity level was 14,000 NTU. August this year, just last month, the managing director of Ghana Water went to the Konyako headworks, which now has been shut down. And he says the turbidity, again in the central region, in some of the river bodies there, is now 32,000 NTU in 9 months under his watch.
You can't run away from facts. And that's exactly what I sought to do, to lay the facts before I ask the question. Now, instead of simply asking what are you going to do about Galamsey, I then layered my question by connecting it to the economy. So I said, look, the gold board is being touted as being one of the anchors of the economy. It is accredited with a lot of the stability of the city. Is that why the fight against Galamsey is not working? Is it because a lot of the gold that we're buying at the gold board is actually Galamsey gold? Now, you heard the president's answer. It was pretty much an admission that, well, at least, even if we are buying Galamsey gold, we as a government are benefiting.
The money's coming to us
financially.
Foreigners getting it.
Right? So there is an admission there that as the media, I'm wondering whether we're going to pick up on that and run with it.
But they also give us some clarity on the IGP's.
Yes. There was a lot of speculation around the IGP withdrawing his troops as to whether it was because of this. He has said, look, it's because there was chaos. There needs to be order. People were just going and attacking all kinds of concessions, whether legal or not. He wants some order to be brought to that, and that is why he says the IGP's men have been called.
Let me ask Anderson, are you happy with today's encounter?
Evans, to be honest with you, these encounters, like you have all said, generally would not be able to give us the best. But for me, a lot of the things John Mahama do, we have to be happy about and celebrate. The guy is in his final term without any accountability whatsoever, and he decides to do this in his first 9 months. Under no obligation, under no force whatsoever. taking over from a man who has for 8 years given us this only twice, he could have chosen not to do it and nobody would actually complain. He has made his ministers account to us weekly. Every week we have 3 ministers come to take questions from journalists. He himself decides to come and do it. For me, it's a big deal. I have not been given the opportunity to ask a question, but there were lots of us here. I think over the periods from Atamils, Mahama himself, Akufo-Addo, what happens is that I think there's a way they should manage it. They usually let the president give an opening address. And I thought the opening address, today he did a 30-minute opening address. I thought that was too long. It's a day for journalists. If you want to read the speech, go and do State of the Nation address or give a press conference. But if he says a media encounter, let us ask our questions so that those 30 minutes that he spent reading the speech, we could have asked more questions because you invited us here.
What question did you have?
Honestly, my pet peeve is that hole near the Office of Special Prosecutor, which is a national cathedral. I have a feeling that mosquitoes are breeding in there, and it could lead to some malaria because water in there, we know that mosquitoes breed in stagnant water. I asked him before he became president when I had the opportunity what he was going to do with the National Cathedral. I said, was he going to convert it, was he going to complete it, or he was going to cover the hole? He said he was still going to think around it. Now they are still doing an audit, and I think that there should have been a clear plan on what we are going to do with National Cathedral. I think the fact that we lost $97 million in that thing means that it is a huge asset and we should find what to do with it. I don't think we should leave it there as if we don't know what to do with it. It's almost like everybody it's a touchy subject because it's a matter of faith and all of that. But listen, are we going to convert it or are we going to complete it? Let's do something because we cannot cover it up. And all the houses that have been removed from there, look at the financial costs that we have encountered. So I wanted to ask a question on that. Plus, the Akufo-Addo's huge and ambitious Agenda 111. There are a lot of uncompleted projects. What was he going to do about it? I wanted to know, so put those two together, and even the large general hospital. So I really wanted to ask him a question on that when we were limited. But Galamsey, of course, is everybody's problem. And so what we did as a media house strategically is, so myself, Akosia, Bernard, we decided, okay, so these are the questions we have decided. If any of us get to catch the eye of the president, you go. And then when I come, I go. Unfortunately, only one person got a chance. But I say, hey, still is kudos.
Yeah, I mean, myself, him, and Blessed, same. Mm-hmm. It was primarily Galamsey. Yeah. Obviously, because the Ghana Water Company is currently asking for, 280%. You have Konyako Waterworks shut down. I was talking about the turbidity levels going up. And then he talks about the fact that he's lost 8 of his own comrades. 2 of them sit on his own cabinet. All of them were on an anti-Galamsey mission, and they died. I was going to ask him, I was going to exact a commitment from him tonight for him to tell us whether he's going to win the war against Galamsey in ultimate memory of them, as an ultimate tribute to them, and see if he can look us all in the eye tonight and say, by the time I finish my term, I would have won this war, just to honor those men who died. And he referenced them tonight. Of course, that question I didn't get to answer, but there were good questions on Galamsey. The president of GJA is here. You started off with this whole counter with the question. We are your members. You are the president. Give us an assessment of this encounter. Happy with the way it went?
Oh, I think I would say that, yes, it was a great encounter. It delivered. And for that matter, I would say that I'll give him over 80%, even though I believe he maneuvered his way on some of the questions. But then it was a great submission, encountering the media in your first 8 months. It's not something, even though we have witnessed a previous administration doing the same, but then it wasn't in the first year. This is the first time you have a certain president engaging media in his first 8 months, unprovoked. For me, I think that this is something which is commendable, and I believe it helps deepen democracy, and it helps also bring to bear the issues. Most of the times we wake up every morning and listening to these politicians, analyzing issues and all that. This one we are hearing from the first gentleman. Is addressing the very issues that has become very pertinent, that has become issues of national interest, topical issues or discussions, has come before him, and he has addressed most of them, even though had more time.
And the thing that struck me very briefly is his humility when he missed some of the questions. He apologized for it, and then he took them on and answered it. Even the most difficult one about state of emergency, which I thought initially he was trying to. No, he came back and said, now for the first time, he said, I'm reluctant.
Yes.
I'm not going to do it now. And I wonder what the reaction. I know you are part of the media coalition against,
of course,
and you've been asking for this. Give me your reaction to that very quickly, and I'll get everybody's reaction.
Of course, I believe that we have always maintained our position on the state of emergency, because we believe that is the only way we can end this menace impunity. Because what we are saying is that no, it's not about maybe declaring unlimited state of emergency, but then there should be some timelines. At least let's say that, okay, let's halt what do you call prospecting and whatever operations, maybe for a month or two. Let's see how we all come together in a round table and deal with the matter. For me, the issues surrounding Galamsey, I am not all that satisfied, but I believe that maybe that is a strategy. We just have to give him the benefit of the doubt and see if it yields the needed result. If we don't get the needed result, we will come back and we will all contribute. Because for us, I believe we have the platform. It's not the only opportunity to amplify our voice on some of these national concerns. But I believe that for me, with the Galamsey issue, and especially having even references to the current or the recent helicopter crash, it should have been something we were expecting, a renewed commitment.
You didn't get it tonight?
Yeah, to say that, okay, maybe in honor of this lost souls or gallant men who actually sacrificed their life for this, we were going to do ABCD4. But for me, this is what, like a renewed commitment to give hope. At least the family would have also been consoled. And that, look, my father, my wife, our brother, our uncle did not just lose their life for nothing, die in vain. But then
let me wrap up quickly with a question to Bernice and everybody else. Bernice, he's promised us that we're going to get this again, maybe before the year ends. I mean, journalists, we always want more. What would you recommend that they improve about tonight's encounter? For the future
and just like Umar said, I think that they should just limit the time of his speech so that it can allow for more interactivity, and probably allow for a follow-up question, just one. If I'm not satisfied with the question, or if the president's response prompts clarification, then I get the opportunity to ask. And I think that also there was some ground rules set about preference being given to every media house before another had the opportunity. But I mean, we saw that at a point some media houses here. So I think that I just think that we should just try.
I mean, you got one.
Yes, I got one.
We got one.
No, GH1 got two. Actually,
you got two.
Yes.
Here we go. Those of us who didn't.
Some had three actually,
really?
And it was in succession. So what he said was that he was going to allow every media house before another had the opportunity.
Yes.
But I just think that it allows for fairness at least to an extent.
What I think is that I noticed he's taking regional questions. Maybe what they could do is that they could move this to the regions. I mean, President Akufo-Addo did it. He said he was going to go to the studios and go and sit there and take the questions. But maybe if they did Accra, then they can decide that for the northern media, let's all meet in Tamale, we'll do it there. And then for the central media, let's all meet in Kumasi and do it there. So that way the Accra people would have more time, Kumasi people have ample time, and Tamale people would have a lot of time. So I think that's something that we could possibly think of in the future. But hey, for me, I'm still excited that it happened. Maybe the time was short. We could do it next time, and they could learn from this and give us some more. Could you?
Do it
Briefly.
more often, do it earlier in the day. If they can get the president to chalk out a little bit more time in his schedule earlier in the day, so that we can come together, sit for a few hours with him and ask him.
Doesn't like to do things in the morning.
Precisely.
Because I'm actually not envying him at all, because early tomorrow morning
have to be on air in the morning.
He has to be there.
So that I believe would improve this process. Even to the benefit of the president and his team as well, because it will mean that they have a bit more time to fill these questions in a bit more comfort.
Yeah, Mr. President.
I think for me, since there is the start, it is the beginning. we should say that it's, at least it's a good start. Maybe it's important they learn from the few observations that have come out and build on it. And for me, giving maybe an address, just that they should be brief. It's not a problem. It's highlighting and giving, also giving us actionable achievement.
Unless I forget, you scored the president 80%, but the audience we serve tomorrow morning will be judging all of us. They'll be marking our performance. How would you assess your members who asked questions today? Did they make you proud?
Oh, for me today,
you scored the president 80. How would you score the performance of the journalists?
Today you could see that we're more organized, even though, like I said, we didn't have ample time. We're more organized as compared to previous or other encounter with engagement we've had. And for me, I believe we are also able to summarize the preambles and all that. But then we're able to ask enough questions, like as a matter aside, maybe the few mishaps and all that, we're able to ask the pertinent questions, the real questions, the questions that needed to be asked were asked. And so if we had more time, maybe we would have covered enough grounds. We needed enough time, like we just said, if you face an engagement, an encounter at this time, you don't expect the president to go beyond 10. Definitely it's going to be a 2-hour encounter. But I mean, meet the press and trying to maybe discuss topical issues, especially in this crucial moment or crucial hour. You need maximum ample time. You can even dedicate maybe half a day or day to say that this is what is going to happen, at least to open up. Because for me, for 1 hour, 30 minutes or 1 hour is not enough to deal with all these issues.
Mr. President, thank you very much. But the real verdict is in your hands. I'm pretty sure tomorrow morning we'll wake up and see what social media is saying about our questions before they started. Enjoy the rest of your evening. This has been PM Express.